Hi there, John again with Connecting Through Magic, and I'm going to show you a card trick and another principle. It doesn't even have to be a card trick, but I'm using it for a card trick today. So I'm going to bring you down so you can see the mat and we can perform this trick, and then I will teach it to you. All right. Now I have a little picture that I drew of you. Yep. Doesn't it look just like you? He's got this smile just like you, and he's thinking. He's up here and he's thinking. You see that little thought bubble? That's going to be important in just a moment. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take you here. I'm going to take you and I'm going to lay you down right here. Okay? Now, first of all, I'm going to give the deck a cut. And then I'm going to go through the deck, and I'm going to have you tell me when to stop. I'm going to shuffle like this. Tell me when to stop. Stop! Show you the card that you stopped me on. If I would have gone a little bit further, you would have gotten another card. But the card you chose was the Three of Hearts. All right? The Three of Hearts. Now, the little picture I drew of you that's been sitting here down the same time, it actually, it knew that it was a picture of you and that it linked together with you, because that picture that I laid down actually now has him thinking, or her thinking, of the Three of Hearts. Yes, amazing. All right, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to show you how it is done. All right, so you recognize, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. There you go. You recognize this move here. If not, I've taught it a couple of times back. It's the Hindu shuffle, and it's a way of forcing a card. And I throw the card, so I'm watching the camera, not the cards. So I started off, I used a false cut, which it's using the Hindu shuffle, but pulling these bottom cards off, and then dropping and dropping. So there's that. Here, drop, drop. And that way of false cutting, and then forcing the card, you tell stop, and we force the card. So that part you probably learned a couple of times back. If you are just now joining us, you can look back at a couple of videos and find that one. But the way I made the card appear in the thought bubble is a principle in magic called out to lunch. And some of the names, I have no idea where they come from. Some of them is places of origin, but the out to lunch, I would do some research. You can find out where the name comes from, but that's the name. So you have this already prepared, because you know that you're going to be forcing the Three of Hearts. And on your other packet, you have this. This is a half a card that lays on top of the other. Now, I actually had two. I have two of these here. The reason is because I realized after I made it, you can actually kind of see through that. So I cut out a second half and put it like this, so you couldn't see it. So it's harder to see through. Now, the way I made these cards, now if your parent or you have business cards that have a blank back, you can use business cards. I took 3x5 cards and I folded them half and cut them. So these are half of a 3x5 index card. And then these are just half of the half, a quarter of the index card. And that hides this. Hides the information like that. Looks like, now, granted, like here, you can see that cut. I know, not very impressive. However, when you take your stack of cards and you have this rubber band in the middle. That rubber band, I'm gonna slide this like this. So we've got that like that. Now, so you can see that. But if I place, I'm gonna stick these cards in here. There, I'm gonna straighten it up so you can see it while I'm doing it. So I've got these, I've got them in here like this. All right. So if I move the rubber bands down, and I have 2 rubber bands there to give me enough thickness, but 1 rubber band might be able to do it. But as you can see, when I've got the rubber bands across, it looks like it's one picture because the rubber band is hiding the rip. So you've got there. So the smaller part is held by the rubber band, and it looks like it's the here. It looks like it's a full thing. If you want, you can actually have your spectator initial. I would put JS down here so that they know it's still the same card. Now, when you bring it down, I reach in and show that I've got, and make sure that I've got the 1, and it looks like it's the same. And then when I turn it down, I'll turn it like this. I'm holding these cards, but notice that the rubber band's holding that card, and I can slide this out. But I'm doing it upside down like this, and I lay it down. There's that. And you lay this down on the table. This, you can either, I would just stick this in my pocket, get rid of all the dirty work. There it is. So that is the out to lunch principle. And you can do other things if you wanted to. We'll talk about other ways you can use the out to lunch principle, but that's an easy one, having the card appear in the thought bubble. So all you have to, and then also when you draw these two, what I ended up doing was I put this on top first on a blank piece of paper with nothing written on it. Here, I will show you. I had a blank piece of paper and this one, and I put that on, I laid this on the table just like that. So that's on top. And I drew my first picture. And what I did was I drew this, but without the 3 of hearts. So I drew this on top. So I had this guy, and I drew the thought bubble so that it would all, I did this here. I drew this. Yeah, like that. I drew that. And then I took this off and I drew the next. I think I'm over explaining that, but that just wanted to make sure. So, because that helps this that helps this look more real. Looks like it's actually part of the photo. The drawing. It's so real, it looks like a photo. But there you are, just like this. And then this gets pulled out and laid down. Alrighty, there we are. I hope you enjoy that. And if you have any questions, you can drop me a message. But with that, I will see you next time.